Hey, it's Larry Sharpe here yet again from Freedom Fest, trying to bring you some interesting content, talking about what's happening in the world today. I've got a very special guest here, I've known for a couple years now, Wolf from Students for Liberty. And what I want to talk about here is why in the world, when we hear all the time that all the millennials want is socialism, all the millennials want is social, they all love Bernie, how in the world can an organization like yours be growing? Does it seem to make logical sense? Please tell me.
Yeah, so first, I think what we have to understand, and the audience has to understand, that millennials are not coherent in their worldview. Because when they're saying they like socialism, they don't mean Venezuela, North Korean style government control.
Got it.
The definition of socialism is the means of productions on the hand of the government.
Right. Meaning
government controls all kinds of different businesses.
Right.
That's not what millennials want. Because if you ask them, do you want government to control the whole economy? They say no.
They say no, okay.
So there's conflicting views of that, but what they do want is they want government to be more active than other generations.
I see.
Specifically about relief of student debt and healthcare. So those are the topics that they want government to see.
So the millennials care a lot about student debt. Healthcare doesn't make sense to me either. They're young, right? They're healthy. Why do they care about healthcare?
Because young people generally, and especially the people who call themselves socialists, they're very compassionate. They want to help people.
I see.
They want to help people, everyone, but they don't think that the free market or capitalism, which they hate as a term,
right?
So I try to avoid that term. They don't think that it helps the poor or the folks that cannot help themselves. And the United States healthcare system is, and I'm a foreigner obviously, very screwed up. I lived in Sweden, I lived in the UK where they have more nationalized systems, and they're often better than what you have here in the United States. They still have a lot of problems there.
Sure, yes.
But they just see that people are suffering, that you go to a hospital and then you're like in debt for the rest of your life. And they say like, that cannot be it.
And that's why they want socialism. And they think that's the answer.
Yeah. They don't understand the role of government, how it has led healthcare to be like much more expensive, much more inefficient.
Sure.
Same with education and so forth.
So then, but yeah, right. You said you don't like they don't like using the phrase capitalism, right? I never use that phrase either.
Yeah.
I don't use free market. I use consumer driven.
Okay.
Right. I always say it's a consumer driven model. It's a consumer driven this, consumer that. So I've changed some of those words also. It's hard for the libertarian to not use those words though, because to a libertarian, capitalism sounds amazing. Free market sounds awesome. But for the non-libertarian, not so much. So why would someone come to you if they're still thinking, well, no, Students for Liberty, that means capitalism, that means evil?
Yes.
How do you bridge that gap?
I think there are two main reasons. One being students realize, okay, I want to help the poor. I want to fight inequality. I don't want my grandparents not having money when they retire. Coming from a place of compassion, but then they're looking into this, okay, can actually a $40 trillion plan of Sanders or who have you can tackle that? And they're looking at it and they learn more about economics and can that actually achieve the goal? And they realize, no, it cannot.
I see.
And then they might look at like other countries that have a good healthcare system, like Singapore, how they're doing this. And I'm not endorsing Singapore here. They have like many anti-libertarian policies. But they're looking at this and say like, okay, is government really the answer? Can a bureaucrat in DC actually make decisions that will help my life and my health? And they start to question it, and then they start looking at alternatives. And then often they come to us because we have like more of a free market approach, how the market could help with that. That's one way. That's the students that ask more questions.
Got it.
But then the other way is, what we're trying to do with Students for Liberty is also that we're not coming and saying like, look, we are libertarians, like we have the truth. And like you have to read this book and like slap them over the head with it.
Sure.
We're coming from a place of mutual respect.
Yes, absolutely.
Because our people understand that other folks with different opinions, they want to, as much as us, want to help poor people.
Sure.
They want to help other folks, but they have different means of accomplishing it. So let's talk in a respectful and dignified way. What are your solutions? What are our solutions? And our people are like happen to have radical, cool ideas for free markets, but they also happen to be nice human beings.
Got it. So it's the idea of being able to have the conversation.
Yeah, and reaching out.
So you think I shouldn't just hit someone over the head with like maybe like a Mises economic book? That's not a good idea? Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes true, yes.
And Mises is fantastic.
Well, it's funny when you say that, right? Very often when people ask me about the liberty movement in general, they say, Larry, isn't that guy a bad guy? Isn't that person a bad person? And what I say is no, I think every voice is important. And for some people hear a more radical voice, some people won't. Some people hear a more aggressive voice, some people won't, right? Yeah. My audience is different than other audiences, right? So I'm glad that you have that idea where you can mix and match and do different types of people.
And we're very tribal, and it goes against our nature.
Yes.
And I say we, not as like people who happen to believe in liberty a lot and want to using the free market or consumer-driven policies.
Sure, right, yes.
It is, for every kind of ideology, it's more comfortable in staying in our own niche and with people that already agree with us.
Yes.
And that's what happens in Congress. That happens on campus. But we have to go out there and change minds and have to do it from a place of compassion, because if you just yell at people, they will not listen to you.
There's that old saying I talk about all the time, right? No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
Right? So when they care, I care about you, I care, all right, I'll listen at least.
Yeah.
And you may not even agree, but my biggest thing is your tribalism. When it's tribalism, it becomes us versus them. And then them isn't even a person. They're not even a human being. There's something else, right? So I can just completely push them away. I can ignore them. They don't matter. But once I have the conversation, even if I disagree, you're still a person.
Yes.
You're still human. You can have a conversation. I bring up all the time. When I was running for office last year, many times I'd go into a room and I'd ask the question, how many people here are registered Republicans? Hands will go up. How many registered Democrats? Hands will go up. How many registered something else? Hands will go up. They'd all be in the same room and not want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Right? So it can actually work. I completely agree. Respect is a critical piece. So tell me, if someone wants to help you guys out or get more involved, what do they do?
Sure. So students can check out studentsforliberty.org and apply for our programs. We have a lot of different videos about why the minimum wage will probably harm the poor more than it will help them, or will artificial intelligence take our jobs. So they can check it out at Learn Liberty on YouTube. We have over 50 million views of our videos there.
You said Learn Liberty on YouTube?
Yeah, that's also part that what we have. Studentsforliberty.org, or if they want to come to a conference where you have spoken as well, it's libertycon.com. It takes place from the 3rd to the 5th of April 2020 in Washington, D.C. in the belly of the beast. But there will be people from the left and the right and the crazy libertarians all will be there, and they will be trying to come to a better understanding how we can make the world a better place, and we can do it over beer or coffee and have a good time while doing it. So thank you for talking to me about this.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thanks for what you do.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.